Hello and welcome to Everett Memorial Stadium. Your Merchants looking to bounce back after their first home loss of the year. You're now second place. Everett Merchants take on the Dub C Fish Sticks for the first time this season. Shane Melrose on the mound, lefty starting pitcher for the Merchants. 2 starts, 12 innings pitched, 2 earned runs in those outings, 7 hits, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts, a 1-0 record, and a 1.50 ERA. He will face Clay Facto, Albert Jennings, and Mark Malerba to start things off. And as we were last night, I'm joined by one of the hosts of Bonus Baseball, WSU alum Jacob Ansbert. Jacob, how are you tonight?
I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful night out here. Yesterday was a little bit cloudy and cool. Today, a little bit warmer, a little bit sunnier. I'm excited for a nice night of baseball.
As am I, hoping those balls carry just a little bit further than they did yesterday. There was a lot of balls dying at the warning track last night.
Even if it's for both teams, I'll take it. But yeah, hopefully the Everett Merchants can take advantage of the warmer weather and maybe ride a couple out of here today.
I'd always rather call a 10-9 loss than a 1-0 loss. First pitch of the ball game fouled off, and we are underway.
You got to appreciate the 1-0 losses. It's the 4-3 games that drive me nuts.
That's fair. That's fair. And a 1-0 loss it's fun to watch. It's frustrating to broadcast because it just flies and you don't have time to talk about much. Hot hit to Jack Johnson. He fields it, throws across in time to Heron for out number 1. Albert Jennings climbs in next. Fish Sticks only 3 games played this season. They've been dealing with some rainouts to start the season. Jennings played 1 game so far for the Fish Sticks, starting in right field tonight. He's 2 for 4. Melrose delivers. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. In the pregame, I gave the potentially slanderous sounding comparison for Shane Melrose of a high chopper. Right back to Melrose. He'll try to run to the bag, and the play is in time. 1 unassisted. I think, oh boy, you think that was stuck in his glove, or was he just not confident in the throw over?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I don't think I've ever seen a ground out right back to the pitcher just immediately get taken all the way back to first base right there. That was an interesting play, but ultimately he had the speed to get it done.
I guess it worked. Early work in the pen, Luis Rivera throwing for Everett. Melrose slated for a full start, so this is likely just some bullpen work for the Merchants' flame-throwing closer. Jacob, I mentioned in the pregame that Shane Melrose pitches a little bit like a Marco Gonzalez, lefty pitcher who gets some contact. He's going to walk a few guys, but is an effective pitcher on the mound when he's on, and in Melrose's case, he's on more than he's not.
You can say what you want about Marco Gonzalez. At the end of the day, there's a reason he's a major league pitcher, right? He's effective, he gets outs, and maybe every once in a while, because he is a contact pitcher, some of that contact finds some real estate out in the outfield. But at the end of the day, there's a reason he's a major league pitcher, and he's an effective one.
Absolutely. I think most pitchers in these summer leagues would be okay with a Marco Gonzalez-like career. The wind and the 0-2 is fouled away by Malerba, first baseman for the Fish Sticks tonight. 2 for 4 with a run scored and a strikeout on the young season. Tabata, DH on deck. Here's the 0-2. It's just a bit outside. Delisle couldn't quite corral that one. Take a quick tour of the Merchants infield. Jack Johnson, Bryce Lundberg, Aaron Barber, and Will Heron is your infield from left to right. Jordan Justice, Anthony Andrews, and your right fielder, is Fisher. And your starting battery, Shane Melrose and Lucas Delisle behind the plate. Keaton Fisher, his first name there for your right fielder. He's listed as a third baseman in my starting lineup on my scorebook. That was causing a bit of confusion. I wasn't sure why we only had 2 outfielders.
You get here early for a reason. You can't be making mistakes like that.
I know. I'm getting here well early. I'm feeling extra comfortable, and then I managed to just completely bungle a name like that. 2-out walk will bring up Tabata, the DH. Delisle getting another start behind the plate. He's been great this year on the defensive end of things. Tabata, right-handed DH up, and he fouls this one off, 0-1. Feels important to get out of this inning without allowing a run.
Yeah, I think if the Merchants learned anything yesterday, obviously they allowed a few runs early on, was able to keep the remind me again who the team that we played yesterday. The Honkers was able to keep the Honkers off the board for the last 7 innings yesterday. So ultimately, I think if you can get off to a little bit of a better start this time around, maybe start throwing zeros up and give the offense a chance early on, I think you'll find yourself in a much better position later in this game.
This team has thrived on playing from ahead. They have the pitching staff to do it. As this ball is hit well into right center field and playing it on a hop is Fisher. The throw to third base is in time! He was out by a mile, didn't slide. I think he might have had a chance to get in there if he had slid, but an outfield assist for Fisher after the single, and that will retire the side. When we come back, Merchants will look to score the first run of the ball game. Lundberg, Scholl, Barber, and Herron will clean things up when we come back. Welcome back, bottom of the first inning. Caden Melzer, starting pitcher for the Dub C Fish Sticks. According to Point Streak, Melzer has not appeared in a game, but he has pitched 2 innings. I'm not sure how that works. The joys of Summer League Baseball is that pitch misses Braden Lundberg low and away. 2 innings pitched. He's given up 2 runs, both earned, on 3 hits, no walks, no Ks, and a triple. 9.00 ERA for the Fish Stick starter. We hear rumors that this may be an opener, which is always interesting in the Summer League game.
So what you're telling me is the Dub C Fish Sticks are the Tampa Bay Rays equivalent of the Summer League Baseball?
You know, I can get behind that. I like that.
Hopefully not with the same results, though.
Yeah, that's a scary squad. 2-1 now on Braden Lundberg. Schaaf, Cook, Prendergast, Malerba is the infield from left to right. Outfield, Liao, Facto, and Jennings. And starting battery of Melzer and Nix. 3-1 the counts on Braden Lundberg. He'll be followed by the DH, Jonah Scholl. Second baseman Aaron Barber hits third. Will Herron cleaning things up at first base. Keaton Fisher, the right fielder, hits fifth. Followed by Jack Johnson, the third baseman. That pitch fouled off of Nix. And the full count will run full at 3-2. Catcher Lucas Delisle hits seventh. Jordan Justice in left hits eighth, and Anthony Andrews as a second leadoff hitting ninth in center field. Talking pregame about the serious roster lineup manipulation we had today in the pregame. Bo Blacken and Harold Pyatt with some serious discussions about the order of things. Anthony Andrews was leading off at one point. I think there was some talk about leading off with Jonah Scholl, but this is the lineup that the Merchants decided on to keep some speed at the top of the order and to get a fast guy ahead of the leadoff man once we get into the game to hopefully produce some more runs. Plenty of men on base last night, just weren't able to push them across.
Well, and I like the idea, too. I mean, ultimately, yesterday, you had a lot of guys that came in hot, weren't able to score a lot of runs, obviously, until you got the bases loaded in the ninth, able to push across one. I think you want to carry over that momentum from yesterday. They're doing a good job, obviously, with the roster construction here because the leadoff guy reached base, did his job, so I am I'm curious to see how it'll all shake up today and hopefully get a little bit more than one on the board.
Absolutely. Full count walk to lead off the game. That ball low, 1-1 the count. As Jonas Scholl, the DH, climbs in. Pinch runner last night, get some speed on the base paths in a key moment. Scholl's probably the fastest player I've broadcast with the Everett Merchants. His speed in the inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday, it was impressive. Stole second and third on back-to-back pitches. Runner goes! This ball popped up in the infield. Mix taking a look at it by the Merchants dugout, and he can't make the play. And it'll be a very exciting strike, too.
That was interesting. I thought that ball initially was going to get out of play, but it looked like it hung just over the Merchants dugout, and Nick's not able to make the catch on that ball.
It was a tough play. It almost looked like it started to spin back, which those big fly balls do sometimes.
So you talked about Scholl being probably the fastest player you've ever broadcasted. What do you think about him being a DH today? I know there's a lot of positional versatility there.
There is, indeed. So I think the thought is if you need to... I'm not sure. It's an interesting question. The outfield defense has been great for the Merchants this year. So I think they don't want to mess with that.
Well, you're telling me, based on the way we ended that first inning, an absolute laser beam of a throw from right field to get the guy at third base. I was promised good defense yesterday. It delivered in spades, and let me tell you, it is continuing so far today. So hopefully we see a little bit more of that.
The best or worst Merchant teams, no matter what the quality of play on the field is, the defense has been spectacular every time. Runner goes, strike three called, throw down, not in time. That was a close play at second base, but the Merchants will have a runner on at second base with one away.
Now batting number 44, Aaron Barber.
I like the idea, though. Get a runner in scoring position early on here. Ultimately, you suffer the strikeout, but get the runner in motion here, and now with one out, you got a guy on second base.
Absolutely, and I think the Merchants would take that, but you give up an out likely with no outs to get a man on second base. From the stretch, Melzer delivers to Barber, who laces this one into left center field down the line, charging, and foul ball. Leao couldn't quite get to that one, but
Left fielder
to catch it anyways.
Left fielder in a dead sprint kind of left a yard sale where he was playing a little bit earlier. The glasses are down, the hat's down.
When the glasses and hat,
even the ball fell.
Yeah, it did. When the glasses and hat fall off and you're in a dead sprint towards the line, things can go pear-shaped pretty quickly. That's a good break for the fish sticks that ball landed foul.
I respect it though. I always enjoy when the stuff goes flying because it really shows a valiant effort.
It does, yeah.
Show
some dedication. I like it.
Or the base running.
Mm-hmm. If you don't lose your helmet on a first to home, are you really hustling? I don't know. Called strike 0-2.
That or you're ending with a headache.
That's a good point too. To me, that means your helmet probably doesn't fit well, if we're being honest.
Probably fits a little too well.
Yeah. 0-2, swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. First out, number 2. Barber in a bit of a slump lately. Had a few great games in the on-base percentage departments to start the homestands, but has not been swinging the bat particularly well, looking to break out of that slump here today. Will Heron climbs in, first baseman for the Merchants with 2 away, and leadoff man Braden Lundberg on at second base. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Slow breaking ball. He was well ahead of that one.
Well located on the outside part of the plate there. Even if you do manage to recognize that pitch, even to get the bat all the way to the outside of the box is always a tough thing to do on the breaking ball.
Heron's a big guy, but that is a tough plate to cover. As a high chopper foul, and nice play by Bo Blacken on the third base side. I've always thought that if you're a base coach, you have a decision to make early in your career. Are you a get out of the way of the foul ball guy, or are you a try to make a play? Bo Blacken is a try to make a play guy all the way.
I feel like it's easier said than done from the booth, but I feel like I'm a try to make the play guy.
Yeah, it is easy to say from up here, but you got to try.
Well,
right?
we were having this discussion yesterday a little bit off air. You know, if a ball were to ever be hit up by the announcer's booth, are you trying to make a play, or are you getting out of the way protecting your equipment? You obviously have a lot more equipment out right now than I do. So I'm probably the one trying to make the play in this instance.
You got to try, right? Ball in the dirt, 2-2. Did you see the Yankees radio broadcaster took a foul ball off the face in the middle of a broadcast and then stayed in it, and then the next pitch ended the game. But it came off, deflected off the table as a foul tip into the glove for strike 3. That will retire the side 0-0 after 1. But yeah, it's a painful moment. Foul ball off the desk, caught him in the forehead.
I do not envy that.
Me either. We'll be back for the top of the second. Welcome back. Top of the second inning. Owen Prendergast will lead things off. Second baseman against Shane Melrose, who stranded a man at second in the first. This ball low and away, 1-0. It appears we may have a bullpen day brewing in the Dub C Fish Sticks bullpen. I, for one, am here for a bullpen day. It's one of the weird days where I think both teams are excited that it's a bullpen day, right? Like the team that's throwing the bullpen day is like, great, we get all our good pitchers. Tomorrow might be rough because we won't have any relief pitchers that we trust. And then the other team is saying, you know, all we have to do is get to one guy, and we're in good shape.
I feel like that's always the debate, right? If you're the opposition to a team that's having a bullpen day, I feel like there are two different ways to look at it. You can look at it and think, man, how on earth do I prep for that game? I mean, you got over-the-top righties, you got submarine lefties. There is no shortage of arm angles that you might see from a bullpen. But like you mentioned, at the same time, all you need is one guy to be off their game, and boom, there's 3 runs, 4 runs. So, you know, the thing about a bullpen game is even if the offense is struggling, there's always light at the end of the tunnel in these
always
games.
Hope. And the other good thing about a bullpen game is if someone gets in serious trouble early, you might have to let him ride for an inning because you've got your game charted out likely as Andrews is over to make the play in left center field for out number 1.
Now batting number 36, Ethan Liao.
Liao climbs in, left fielder for the Fish Sticks.
So I got to get your take on this. Interesting decision here by Liao, wearing a white helmet. Everybody else wearing the blue helmet. I wonder if there's something to that.
Yeah, good question. I'm not a fan. I think if the whole team's wearing one color, you got to go with it, even if you have to borrow a helmet.
Well, you were talking before the game that you liked the all-white fish stick outfits. This
I do.
is the true all-white fish stick outfit.
I'll be honest. Liao's look is my preferred look for this uniform. It's just fair on a foul ball. It's called, and might have been a break for the Merchants because I'm not sure that he
That would have been a tough
gets
play.
there. Yeah.
So you like the white helmet?
I do like the white helmet, but I will caveat that by saying that if your entire team is wearing blue helmets, you need to wear a blue helmet. Sticks out a little bit.
I agree with your most recent point. I feel like if the team is going to take on, it's called a uniform for a reason, right? You got to be uniform with the rest of your team. I think I'm going to counter you on the other point, though. I think I'll take the blue helmet.
Okay.
I think I love a good accent color.
That's
you know,
true.
My eye for fashion coming out.
I'll give you that. Johnson charging to his left. The throw across is in time. 5-3 the put out for out number 2. Melrose pitching efficiently.
The third baseman refused to not let that play be his. The foul ball just missed, but ultimately he was able to range to his left a little bit there and make a nice play. Nice throw over to first base on the move.
And that was probably Braden Lindbergh's ball, honestly. But, you know, whatever works.
I don't know. I always feel like it might be easier for the third baseman to range out a little bit than it would be for the shortstop to come in. I feel like any discipline of athletics, the hardest play you can make is the hard charging in play.
That's true. That's a good point. Tyler Chafe, third baseman. 0-1 the count. This one's just a little bit low. 1-1. Merchants in their black hats, blue tops, and white pants. A break from their black home uniforms they've been wearing a lot this season. All white, as we've mentioned, for the Fish Sticks. Blue helmets for all but Liao. And blue hats in the field.
This is a good color for the Merchants. I like the blue tops with the black hats. This is, as much as I am a black guy, as much as I enjoy that look on teams, the blue is it's a solid compliment.
I agree. I think this is their best uniform. The gray pants looking sharp with the blue as well, but I think the blue tops are the most important part. And that was our uniform discussion. Here at the top of the second inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Fish Sticks. We head to the bottom of the second inning, scoreless in Everett. Welcome back. Caden Melzer still on the mound for the Fish Sticks. We head to the bottom of the second. Keaton Fisher takes a called strike on the upper part of the plate. 0-1. Fisher batting .357 on the season. He's been a great bat. Him and Heron sharing first base duties. It's a ground ball. Cook throw across in time for out number 1. Brings up third baseman Jack Johnson. It's an interesting situation when 2 of your top 5 or 6 bats both play first base. It fills up that DH spot most of the time.
You know, I feel like it's a good problem for a manager to have, right? You can never have too many offensive weapons, and you know, maybe somebody's got to learn an extra position or 2, or maybe, you know, that's why they have the DH here. So ultimately, I think it's a good problem to have. I'd rather have 2 qualified first basemen than a half a first baseman.
I tend to agree, and that's like what you're seeing today. Keaton Fisher playing out in right field as that DH spot filled by Jonah Scholl. Upstairs, 2-0 the count to Jack Johnson. On deck, Lucas Delisle.
It's always been the major league mentality, right? You know, you got too many people, just throw the first baseman out in right field, see what happens.
What could go wrong?
It's close enough to first base that he can make a play out there.
Does seem to be changing slightly with the increase in the running game this year. Those defensive metrics are becoming a bit more important. I don't know if outfield defense is actually more important in the major leagues this year than it's been in years past, but infield defense certainly has turned into a premium.
You would have to think that outfield defense would be a little bit more premium. Maybe I'm just making this up.
Well hit to left field, stinging that ball. Jack Johnson aboard with a base hit, first of the night for the Merchants.
Well, and that actually brings up exactly what I was going to say, where he hit that ball. With no shift, right? A lot more balls are getting to the outfield. You need guys to be able to charge, make that play, make that throw. So if there was a shift in this league, that's probably about where that ball would have gone.
It's true. Absolutely.
Ultimately, it relies on the left fielder to make that play. So maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe it's not that important. But
I think that's a great point. So you can still shift to the outfield, which is a thing that people often forget. Pitch low and away to Delisle. What's your feeling? We didn't talk about the shift at all yesterday. What's your thoughts on the shift rule?
You know, the shift is one I've gone back and forth on for a couple reasons. I'm never a fan of when power is taken out of the manager's hand, because I feel like I'm a guy who likes innovation, and any little crafty thing that you can do to get an advantage, whether it's, a lot of people hate the opener. I get it, you use that reliever in that spot. The shift is another thing, but ultimately, I think you have to remember that sports are a form of entertainment.
6-4-3 the double play. And that will retire the side. Merchants go in order. We'll pick this conversation back up in the top of the third because I think this is an interesting one. Still scoreless in Everett. Cougar Cook will lead things off here in the top of the third inning for the Fish Sticks. In the bottom half of the second, we were starting up a conversation about the shift. Jacob, I'm not sure we got too far into that. What's your thoughts on limiting of the shift?
Yeah, so I was going to point out that ultimately baseball is a sport. Sport is in the entertainment industry here, and I think as long as you're making the game more entertaining, I think that that's probably the right move. I'm never a fan of when you limit what the manager can do and you limit what he can do with his chess pieces. But at the end of the day, I mean, the shift, it killed a lot of base hits. It killed the action. A lot of players recognized that and became a lot more...
Line drive out.
Became a lot more three true outcome. You saw the home runs rise. You saw the launch angle of swings go higher and higher. And I think baseball wanted to do something about that to combat that. And ultimately, I think it's the right decision to limit the shift, as much as it does kind of hurt my creative juices. So, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm generally against the shifts being limited the way that it has been. I'm glad they didn't go too severe. There were some crazy talks about them literally drawing circles in the infield of where players were allowed to position themselves, which seems crazy to me. I think the shifts as allowed are fine. It's not as bad as I expected it to be.
That's always the rule with baseball, though, right? They implement the rules, and you think, oh, I'm going to hate it. It's never as bad as you think it's going to. Even the ghost runner on second.
Yeah.
We're all going to live through it.
The modification I would make to the shift rule as implemented, shifting will never come back the way it was before. Big swing and a miss on the slow breaking ball. Delisle will throw over to complete the out for out number 2. I would allow infielders in the outfield. Limit the shift. You have to have 2 infielders on both sides of the infield, but let the second baseman or the shortstop position himself in the outfield grass if he wants.
Oh, okay, so you basically forfeit the defender that's between first and second base by moving him back.
Yeah.
And then probably moving the shortstop as close to second base as you could get him.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that.
We had the over shifts where you had shortstop playing second and second base playing outfield. So instead, keep that shortstop on the left side and let the second baseman go out in the outfield if he wants. That
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
It's a really hard ground ball to defend if you hit to where that second baseman normally is, and he's in outfield and the shortstop's on the left side of the bag.
I mean, you'd be allowing a lot of real estate if we're talking about shifting a lefty between second base and where the second baseman would be positioned out in right field. There would be a huge hole there. So, it would lead to lots of opportunity.
It would, absolutely, and it would really change the thought process of course, some umpire or some managers.
We said the same thing when they officially, or initially enacted the shift, that there'd be so much room to the opposite side of the hitter. And ultimately, that ended up working as planned either.
That's true.
So.
Although we all forget about the David Ortiz bunt double down the third base line, which is one of my favorite plays in all of baseball. 1, 2, 3, go the Fish Sticks in the top of the third inning. Merchants looking for the first run of the game when you come back. Bottom of the third, Justice Andrews and leadoff man Braden Lindbergh. Welcome back. Bottom of the third inning. Caden Melzer still on the mound for the Fish Sticks, facing Jordan Justice, who hacks through a first pitch fastball, 0-1.
You can tell he's trying to do some damage there. He sees the 0-0 on the scoreboard. He's trying to change
He wants to change that right now with one swing. So, Jacob, when we came off the air in the middle of the third, you mentioned you have a least favorite rule.
I do.
We haven't touched on it yet.
So, over the last few years of bonus baseball, one of the things we like to do is highlight every single rule change and get our initial opinions on it. And the one that I had the strongest opinion on, as minute of a rule as it might be, is I hate that you have to have 13 hitters and 13 pitchers on the same roster.
Oh, I'm so on board with this.
It is the worst rule of all time, because I sit here and I watch the Mariners. Some teams can do it okay. You don't need 4 bench players.
No.
Some do it okay. Some are really good about platooning, making sure every guy gets in the lineup. But at the end of the day, it is so hard to get 13 position players into the game. Why can't you have that 9th guy in the bullpen? Because it seems like bullpens are always taxed. You might as well get that extra guy in there.
I'd rather have Diego Castillo than Colton Longway now, basically.
Exactly. Did it have to be Diego Castillo?
Flare shot to right. Down the line, it's a base hit. Jordan Justice getting the wave. He'll head to second. And they're going to call him to third. Oh, get a late stop sign. Stop at second. Lead off double down the line for Jordan Justice. Brings up Anthony Andrews, the center fielder.
He didn't want to be the second victim of this game to get gunned down at third from right field. I can't blame him for wanting to stop at second in that situation.
It would have been a long throw, but yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be Diego Castillo, but the point stands.
Yeah. I mean, and the Mariners aren't even using Chris Flexen. But you can think about you need a backup catcher, you need a backup infielder, you need a backup outfielder.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
And when you have Dylan Moore, he's your backup infielder and outfielder. You could go crazy.
I think you could have the option of having a 4th bench player if you want to.
Yeah.
You should be able to have 5 bench players if you want to.
I am of the opinion that you should have a minimum number of pitchers you have to carry, and that's the only limit they should put on your roster.
I would agree with that. I don't think a minimum pitcher limit would affect managers too much, because I feel like they would want to lean a little bit more pitcher heavy.
Absolutely.
But if you have the 3 out minimum, or the 3 batter minimum, like you already do, then you're not going to get as many mid-inning pitching changes because you've already created a rule to limit that. So That has always been my least favorite baseball change. I don't see the need for 13-13. Unless you're the Angels, in which case Ohtani counts.
Yeah, so what is Ohtani?
He's a hitter. I've looked at their roster before because I was curious. He counts as a hitter, so they actually do carry an extra pitcher.
And that's absurd. He should not start as, he should not count as a. If this rule is implemented as it is, one of your 5 starters should not count as a batter.
To be fair, the Angels, I believe, run a 6-man rotation.
Well, sure, okay.
You believe that the Angels should have 5 bench players at any given time?
I mean,
it's the Angels that could probably use it.
They could.
A little gamesmanship right there.
Yeah.
The shortstop running in front of the runner on second right there.
Fake wheel play. Braden Lundberg up to bat. He walked back in the first inning.
What do you think the purpose of that is? Do you think it's to get in his head? Do you think it's to prevent any sign stealing?
Ooh, good question. It might be a sign stealing situation, but I think that if that shortstop's in front of that runner, it's harder for him to see if they're making a move to second base. This is a ground ball up the middle. Past the glove. Cook couldn't field it. That's going to be a base hit. Throw home is up the line. Merchants take the lead.
That's a big run right there. A great hit, great approach, up the middle. Good base running, rounded third cleanly, and able to score before the 9th inning, so I'm happy.
Yeah, early runs for the Merchants. The curse of Jacob Bansberg broken.
I feel like if it's your second game ever broadcasting, I feel like having a curse named after you feels a little premature.
It does. A little harsh, perhaps.
I'll tell you what, it was enough to get an arm warming up in the bullpen, though, for the fish sticks.
That'll work. Called strike on Jonas Scholl, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. It's the part of the lineup that you want up right now. Merchants a run on 2 hits. No runs on a single hit for the fish sticks. Lundberg goes. It's a hard hit ball to left field. Lundberg will coast into third base. A slide at the end is a nice throw by the left fielder. Liao forces a play. And runners on the corners for Aaron Barber.
Tell you what, I'm going to make my first prediction as a broadcaster.
Boy, okay, let's hear it.
We're going to see a stolen base right here.
Okay, I like
a runner on third base, second base open. They're not going to want to throw him out because they're not going to want to risk it coming home. I think we're about to see a stolen base here by number 4.
That's a good point. And I like the no throw to second call because my next question would be, is this a planned double steal? But I don't think Harold Pyatt's in the mood for that in this point of the game.
Going to second and third, maybe. I don't see it with the guy coming home.
Well hit ball to left field, down the line, fair ball into the bullpen. Aaron Barber digging for second. Scholl will get the big wave home. The throw is cut off. The throw home is offline. 2-run score as Aaron Barber breaks the slump in a big way. 3-0 Merchants.
Jonas Scholl didn't even have a chance to steal second base right there. He was trying to get a read on the pitcher, and the first pitch was blasted out into left field. Brilliant hitting right there, taking the pitch going the opposite way, and ultimately bringing in 2.
And an early pitching change for the Dub C Fish Sticks, likely, or maybe just a mound visit. Either way, we'll step aside. Merchants on top 3-0 with the runner on at second. Welcome back now. Will Heron facing Melzer, who it appeared had a conference with his pitching coach. Check swing, ball in the dirt. Barbaro goes back to second base. 1-0. Marriott, the pitcher warming up. Is that right? Or excuse me. Yes, Marriott Plunkett. Like Marriott was not the last name I said. What was the name that was a bad name to be for a pitcher? Plunkett. That would be it. Heron will take a ball low, 2-0.
Yeah, you take base runners any way you can get them, but Plunkett's probably not the best way to get on board, you know.
Yeah, don't get aboard the painful way if you can help it. It's a long season.
Well, I'm sure that's not what their mothers intended, you know. That's not how you want to get them to first base.
No. First 3 men in the Merchants order, all with a base hit. 2-0 the counts to Fisher, or rather to Heron. This ball low, 3-0.
Looks like Aaron Barber on second base is kind of doing a little dance on second base, taking control of the pitcher's mind right here a little bit, and ultimately have him a little bit off base right now.
Yeah, it's a good secondary lead can get in the peripheral of a righty pitcher here. 3-0. Heron likely taking all the way. Here's the pitch. Down low in the dirt. That one bouncing in. 4-pitch walk puts runners on first and second for Keaton Fisher.
See if we get our pitching change right here if they're going to wait one more.
Looks like they're going to wait.
Number 33, Keaton Fisher.
The only good part about the walk there for the Fish Sticks is that with one out, it does open up the double play.
Yeah, and that's
a conventional double play.
A conventional double play, yes. And that's exactly what the Fish Sticks manager is saying. Roll one here, get that ground ball, and get out of the inning. Big swing and a miss. 0-1. On deck is Jack Johnson, who's registered base hit in the game already. 5 hits for the Merchants already.
Boy, this umpire is braver than I am. He is on the infield grass up by second base right now.
1-1. Yeah, the field umpires, man, they are something else. I think. Okay, here's a question for you. What would you be more comfortable with? I'm not saying making the calls. I'm just mean being there in that position.
Okay.
Home plate or field ump.
By field ump, can I take first base?
Sure, I'll give you first base. Ground ball, got a foot race in time, but it'll move the runner. 3 unassisted, but both runners moving up. 2 in scoring position for Jack Johnson. That was a tight play.
It's okay as long as the pitcher doesn't do it. Am I right?
Yes.
The pitcher does it, he gets a talking to. But if the second baseman does it, he's okay. So we're getting a pitching change.
And we will get our pitching change. Merchants up 3-0, looking for more with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Welcome back. New pitcher, Plunkett Marriott, according to the lineup card. Billy Marriott, according to our stats department.
You wonder if it's a nickname at that point, right?
Quite possibly.
Hopefully not if it's Plunkett.
Yeah, good point. Check swing outside. Ooh, they said he swung. Wow, on the appeal, it's a swing. Plunkett on the year, 1 appearance in relief. He pitched 3 scoreless with 3 hits. Ball away. Just 1 strikeout. One of those hits was a double. 1-1 the counts.
I don't know about you, Sean, and maybe it's just me. I always get fascinated watching submarine pitchers. Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. I get fascinated by the release point.
High chopper foul. I do too. It feels like it'd be a hard release point to control command-wise.
I think so.
And we've seen a little bit of that already with the pitches that miss away or miss glove side missing by a lot.
Have you ever tried to, like, just in the backyard, throwing with friends or family, whoever, have you ever tried to throw a submarine pitch?
I've gotten to 9 or 3, whatever the horizontal line.
That's where
I
I
haven't
get
ever
to.
gone below. Yeah.
I can do the elbow, like, sidearm whip a little bit, but the submarine is just, how those people do that is beyond me. They are genetically gifted to be able to throw like that.
Well, then you get the true submariners where their knuckles are 6 inches off the mound when they release. That's just absurd.
The fact that you can get 90 miles an hour on that kind of pitch is absurd to me.
Strike 3 called.
Whatever it works, it's effective, though.
Absolutely. Merchants strand 2, but score 3 runs on 5 base hits in the bottom of inning number 3. We head to the top of the 4th. Merchants on top, 3-0. Welcome back. Top of the 4th inning. Shane Melrose back on the mound with some run support. 3 runs in the bottom of that 3rd inning. This ground ball goes to Barber. Plenty of time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Shane Melrose.
Tell you what, it feels pretty good to watch this game with a lead. It's something that the Merchants never had at any point. So my first intake of Merchants baseball with a lead.
You have watched the only innings of the season where the Merchants trailed at home.
Really?
Yeah, they were on a tear.
I'd like to tell you it's an honor, but I don't feel like that would be well received.
Not quite an honor. I wouldn't go that far. But
there was one game where I was trying to get a feel for the broadcast, so I went to one of the streams just to kind of see how it works. And every time I would fast forward on the broadcast, it was 3-0, 4-0, 8-0, 12-0, 14-0. I'm like, okay, so maybe these guys are pretty good.
Yeah, I remember I sent you the link to the YouTube channel, and you're like, cool, I'll listen to some of this. And then like 10 minutes later, I get a text as that ball fouled off towards the Merchants dugout. Everyone seems all right. I get a text, and I skipped ahead and skipped directly to a grand slam call, which was Van Rinsum's deep shot over the auxiliary scoreboard out in right center field. Fouled off. We'll do it again.
Ball was absolutely mutilated, too.
It was ridiculous. It was one of, I don't know if it was the biggest home run I've seen. Definitely the biggest grand slam, but top 5, I'd say for sure.
I thought maybe at that point my luck would be in my favor if I could fast forward to a grand slam. Maybe in game 2 here we'll get a little luckier.
Let's see a home run. Always fun to get a home run in this stadium. All right, so thank you all for watching this presentation of Everett Merchants Baseball. We will unfortunately not be on the air on Saturday for that doubleheader, as the 1-2 pitch fouled off. I will be running a youth sailing event up in Oak Harbor. It will likely be the only home games, however, that we will not be on the air for. We're looking to pick up a couple road games as well. So come out to the ballpark for a doubleheader on Saturday. Should be a great contest. Beautiful weather forecasted for Saturday here in Everett.
Hey, if it's good weather for baseball, it's probably good weather for sailing.
It is.
One would have to imagine.
As long as the wind shows up. We've struggled with that in June sometimes when it gets hot, but we'll see.
You know what? For your sake, I'll hope for some wind, but any other day, no thank you.
I appreciate that. Well, I know Carver's far enough north. We can get wind up there and have it be calm down here.
That day I'm going whale watching in Anacortes, so...
Oh, wow. So you don't want wind.
I would rather not see it, but...
8-pitch battle won by Shane Melrose. Swing and a miss by Malerba will bring up Maidet Tabata, designated hitter. Single to right and scored, or rather, and was stranded.
Hard to score when you don't have a run on the board.
That's true. That's true. Although we've proven today that
you can pitch without
you
a
can pitch
game.
without an appearance. So I don't know anything anymore. The 0-1 is lifted into right field, but foul, just over the glove of Will Heron. Would have been a tough play if that had landed foul, likely at least a single. Those balls are dangerous if they land foul or fair. That is roll away. And
it's one thing when you accidentally get a hit. It's another when you accidentally kind of excuse your way into a double down the line right there. As a hitter, you'll take it every day, but I imagine as a pitcher, that's got to be one of the most frustrating hits you can give up.
Well away, 1 and 2. 48 pitches for Melrose in 3 2/3.
That's strong.
35 strikes. That's a very impressive outing.
At that rate, the 90 pitches that he's looking at might put him around the 7th inning.
CG, yeah. '50th pitch is a broken bat grounder to Barber. Throws to first base in plenty of time. That's an expensive ground out. He won't be happy about that. 1, 2, 3 go the Fish Sticks. We get to the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-0 Merchants. Welcome back. Billy Marriott back on the mound. Recorded the strikeout to get out of that troublesome bottom of the 3rd for the Fish Sticks. And Delisle climbs up. 7, 8, 9 due up for Everett. Delisle, Justice, and Andrews. Delisle's 0 for 1 with it grounded into a double play.
Well, he won't be doing that this time around.
That's true. Guarantee he'll have a different outcome in this at-bat. First pitch missing inside. Submarine delivery by Marriott. Bo Blacken coaching at 3rd. Corey Ackles at first base, as usual. Called strike at the top of the zone, 1-1. Harold Pyatt in his 50th season of Everett baseball managing and Josh Berry, not the driver of the number 4 Ford for Stewart Haas Racing, but the pitching coach for the Everett Merchants. Had to get the NASCAR.
There was a couple people that are listening right now that probably just freaked out that you made that connection.
You got to bring it up.
Everybody else is confused.
I know it's a different sport, but you have to feel amazing for Josh Berry, the NASCAR driver, as this ball lifted into left field. Liao charging, loses the hat and makes the play, and the sunglasses.
Another yard sale out in left field.
I think at this point it's for show.
This guy needs a new equipment manager.
It's a bad look out there.
It's funny, we were talking, speaking of different sports, we were talking a little bit about the lighting situation during the break, and you always talked about how this was your least favorite lighting to play sports in. Are you specifically referencing baseball when you say that?
Yeah, so baseball, I also remember we played some pickup football games in this kind of twilight. And this is always the worst lighting.
Because I'm used to the peak of my athletic career, believe it or not, came on the tennis courts. 7 to 8 p.m., a little bit after, on a nice summer evening, this was the best time to play. The sun is gone. You're not looking straight up, blinded into the sky.
So that is an excellent point.
It cools down a little bit. This was pristine weather to play in.
If the sun is completely gone, I'm with you. That's a great lighting. But when that sun is still peeking around every once in a while, you get a face full of sun. That's a bad time. It's also this ball skied to right center field, over and making the play at the fence. No, it's dropped. Justice into second base, and we're gonna have a quick discussion about that. Double to center field.
So you guys are going to have to remind me of how it works in this league. If the ball hits the wall, automatic double?
No, but I was talking hit or error situation there. I couldn't tell if it hit the wall or was out of his glove.
Oh, gotcha.
It hit the people bank wall.
This is also not the greatest lighting in my athletic career. Sailing is the pinnacle of my athletic career. That ball called a strike on the outside corner. And this lighting was always rough because you can't quite turn on the backlights and all your instruments and compass and all that.
Right.
But everything's getting kind of hard to see. So, and oftentimes the wind's dying because the wind shuts off around sunset a lot of times. So it's just a bad situation.
I feel like that's only a problem just in sailing. I feel like when you talk about a nice sunset where the wind shuts down,
it's beautiful.
99% of people are like, oh, thank goodness.
And Justice is going to get picked off. 1-5. Tag applied. 1-5-2 the putout.
I'd never considered the idea of calling the pickle as a broadcaster and thinking about all the different infielders that touch the ball. I feel like you could really get messed up in a 1-5-6-5-4.
Oh, yeah. Well, then the outfielders come in and you're completely lost.
Fortunately, that one wasn't too bad.
It wasn't. I was at the second that rundown started. I'm like, either be safe or get out quickly. And they said he went. Wow, this first base umpire is not cutting the batters any slack tonight.
He's a fan of commitment. If you're gonna go, you might as well take the full swing, is what I'm hearing.
That bat comes off your shoulder, might as well take a hack. You never know. Swing and a well hit base hit in the left field. That makes that pickoff pretty painful. Single to left will bring up leadoff man Braden Lundberg with 2 away.
It feels like the Merchants have done a pretty good job throughout the course of this game when they get runners on, especially at second base, to kind of force themselves to be a distraction to the pitcher. But every once in a while, that comes with some consequences, and as they learn, sometimes it can lead to an out.
Absolutely. Marriott. Giving up 2 hits, but struck out a man in 16 pitches. This pitch is well hit to left field. Liao charging and making the sliding catch for out number 3. The spectacular defense on both sides continues for the second straight night. When we come back, top of the 5th inning, Merchants on top of the sticks, 3-0. Welcome back. Top of the 5th inning. Owen Prendergast leads off 1-0 or 0-1 on the evening, and this ball grounded sharply to Barber. Backhand, throw across in time for the out.
That was an excellent play on both the cords there. A nice slide towards the second base side by the second baseman Aaron Barber there, and a nice pick over at first base by Heron.
Best so far. It's a young season still, but it's been some of the better defense all around that I've seen in quite some time. Ball well away, 1-0. Melrose at 52 pitches, 37 strikes through 4 1/3. He's giving up only a single hit and a walk, 3 strikeouts, no runs. Fouled off.
Looks like soon enough here we might get a completely different ball game. We got people warming up on both sides right now. You talked about a 90 pitch limit, right? How close are we on that?
Yeah, so that's the target for Melrose. He's sitting at 54 pitches right now. So likely
he's got
another inning or two. Yeah. That ball fouled off 1-0, of course, or 1-2 rather. Of course, if he gets into any trouble, this is still a tight game. 3 runs feels nice after only scoring 1 in the 9th yesterday. But it's still, ooh, that ball spikes behind the batter. 2-2. Melrose taking a quick breather. Doesn't seem to be hurt, which is always a worry when you have a pitch missed that badly. Right back into the wind, and the 1-2, or the 2-2 rather, is just outside. It'll fill the count at 3-2. 3 runs on 7 hits for the Merchants, no runs on a single hit for the Fish Sticks. Here's the payoff. It's a soft chopper. Charging is Jack Johnson, who bobbles. The throw across is not in time. E5. As Jack Johnson couldn't field that one cleanly, it cost a runner.
You know, after the first bobble, he probably would have been fine. It was the second bobble that cost him.
It was bobble getting out of the glove, and then on the handle again, he lost it.
Can hardly blame him either. I mean, once you have the first bobble, you know you need to hurry up. It kind of speeds up your brain. You're not going at the same pace as your body, and led to the second bobble. Still made a great throw over. Made it a closer play than I initially thought it was going to be.
Me too. I thought there wasn't going to be a play, and there was. 1-0 to Chafe. This one, hard ground ball under the glove of Jack Johnson. Nothing he could do about that one. That's a base hit in the left. Cougar Cook climbs in, lined out sharply to Braden Lemberg back in the 3rd. Bit of a tight spot here for starter Shane Melrose. First jam of the evening. We'll see how he handles it. First pitch is a little low to Cook.
A lot of outcomes right here. Obviously, you know, one swing, you could have a tie game here. One swing, you're out of the inning.
True. Absolutely. 1-0, 1 away. Infield vacates. Here's the pitch. Check swing. No appeal. 2-0.
I feel like we've mentioned it before. You know, with the first base umpire basically saying if you take the bat off your shoulder, it's a swing. I'd be appealing as much as I could.
You got to ask on that one. I agree. I wouldn't have called it a strike, but this first base umpire might have. Popped it up. Lundberg out. Charging is Anthony Andrews in shallow center field to make the out. Nobody tags. 2 away. 9-hole hitter Jerry Nix climbs in, struck out back in the 3rd.
This feels like an important out to get in this situation when you look at the 9-hole here. The last thing you want to do is bring it back around to the top of the lineup and give the the heavy hitters, if you will, a chance to do some damage to the scoreboard here. You'd rather face them when there's nobody on base and hopefully no runs on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. A great time to get to the bottom of the order, but as you mentioned, it gets tricky if you can't get this out. I believe that's Brad Johnson warming up for the Merchants. Called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. On deck is Facto, leadoff man for the Fish Sticks. But 2 away. Fish Sticks threatening for the first time all evening. This pitch is a ground ball. Jack Johnson's got it. Look to second, but instead goes to first for the outs. And that will retire the side. Shane Melrose continues his excellent start, officially a quality start, as we head to the top of the, or rather the bottom of the 5th inning. Merchants on top 3-0. Welcome back, bottom of the 5th inning. New pitcher, Logan Plunkett climbs in, and we correct the errors we had before. We thought we had a Plunkett-Marriott situation, or Marriott-Plunkett situation, but that was just 2 players listed on the same line in the lineup card, which makes much more sense. As much as a Marriott-Plunkett is a wonderful baseball pitcher
Wonderful
name, it wasn't meant to be. It
I
just
feel
wasn't.
like Marriott Plunkett is somebody that they had to have existed in 1926.
Yeah, exactly.
Pitching for the Pittsburgh Alleghenies, like that's totally a thing.
Scholl pops it up. Prendergast will make the play at second base. Marriott Plunkett is a what-if sports reliever.
He exists in my heart,
Yep.
you know?
Aaron Barber climbs in, 1 for 2 night with a strikeout and a pair of RBIs on a double. I'd like to shout out former Merchant catcher and DH Kason Taggart's playing out in Kalamazoo and listening in live. Losing effort tonight for his squad as that pitch misses, but 2 for 3 tonight with a double and a walk. Average up to 362 as he's looking to improve his draft stock. Hope to see him in the show in not too long. Kason, was a pleasure having you on the Merchants and looking forward to your future successes. This is going to be a tough play. Barber! And that's going to be an E3 to get Barber aboard. Barber aboard on the error. It'll bring up Will Heron. It's a tough play, but that throw has to be on line for a base hit.
For a second, I thought that the runner might actually get him, beat the fielder to first base. Ultimately, not the case, and so the errant throw is what led to the safe call there.
Called strike. Reminder, Kason Taggart also signed to play at Washington State University. Greatest college you could ever hope to play
Greatest
baseball
college
for.
in the world right there. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
From both of us.
And back pick to first, not in time. 1-1. Got to get Wazoo back to Omaha. It's a proud baseball program that has not had the success that program is used to in recent years.
They gotta do Bobo Brayton proud, you know. That's another fake baseball move.
It is, absolutely. The next time we do a What If Sports League, we should do a Wazoo alum is required on your team. Hey, John Olrud is a good player.
I was going to say you're not going to win. You're not going to win very many games. Adam Conley. There are a couple guys out there that you could throw on, but
ball fouled away. Kyle Manzardo will soon be added to that list. He's tearing it up in the minor leagues. 1-2, away. Barber on at first base. The pitch is clobbered to center field. Looking up is Facto, and he makes the play at the warning track. Barber has to head back to first base. Warning track. Shot. It's hard to get that one out here.
This is a brutal ballpark. I mean, you look, and he hit it about where it's 357 to center field, but the wall, I mean, when we were walking by there yesterday, my first experience being right up and close to that wall has to be, what do we say, 15 to 18 feet tall, maybe a little taller?
I think you have to carry 400 to get it out of the park.
I think so.
Right field. Fisher laces it into right field. Barber's going to take a wide turn at second base. That could be a problem. The throw is offline and late. Runners on the corners for the Merchants. Good base running by Barber. I was worried about that one.
That was great base running. Maybe the arm just wasn't there, but it seemed like out of the glove there was a chance to get him at third, but ultimately the throw a little bit offline, but mostly just because it was late.
Yeah, a little bit of a lollipop perhaps, but still good base running. Has to get there. Absolutely.
So do you ever refer to Everett Memorial Stadium as the poor man's Fenway Park, or is that not something you ever do here?
I like that. Poor man's Fenway Park. I will now. Absolutely. We don't have the short porch, though.
It's not quite the Green Monster. Instead, you got our friend, what's his... I'm going to call him Funko Phil. What's his actual name?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Can we call him Funko Phil?
I like it. He'll be Funko Phil at least when we're here. I'm going to get a call from our old president, Mike McCulloch.
I was just told it was Freddie Funko, which is just
Freddie Funko's just as good. Let's go with that.
There had to be alliteration. I'm satisfied with what I just heard.
Our former PIL president, Mike McCulloch, was going to call me after the game tonight if we got that wrong. So thank you for correcting us on that.
I'm sure he's got a brother, maybe a dog named Funko Phil.
There you go. I like it. Funko Phil. This is a base hit into center field. It's going to play to run. Fisher's going to hold up at second base. RBI single for Jack Johnson. Merchants on top, 4-0.
It's a big run right there. The only person that's mad about that's the closer. No save situation anymore.
I know. Gets rid of, well, then you just got to pitch 3. And then you get the save back. We almost had that situation in the 14-0 game. We had a pitcher pitch the 7th and the 8th, and had he come back out, he would get my favorite save, a blowout win, but you pitched the last 3 and you
3-inning save. The rare 3-inning save.
First pitch to Delisles is to short, shovel to seconds for the fielder's choice, and that will retire the side. Merchants pick up another run, however. It's now 4-0 Everett. Welcome back. Top of the 6th inning. Merchants on top of the Fish Sticks. 4-0 in the 6th. I'd like to thank you all for listening live at home. If you have any questions or comments for myself and Jacob, feel free to leave them in the live chat. We'll answer them if we can. We do not comport ourselves as the be-all end-all of baseball knowledge, but we can give it our best chance.
I'm willing to give it anything a shot,
Absolutely.
I'll answer just about any question.
Leave your baseball-related comments, or not so baseball-related. We can get into that
Baseball
if we need
adjacent.
to. But baseball should be adjacent to baseball, agreed.
Something broadcast appropriate, please.
Yes. 2-0. Called strike 2-1. Melrose facing Clay Facto, leadoff man, 0-2 tonight with a strikeout. Ball low.
Thinking if it's yesterday, that might end up as a strike. Definitely looked like it had a chance off the catcher's glove right there.
Definitely a different zone tonight. The 3-1 is clobbered to left center field. On the run, Justice Andrews looking up. It's off the wall. Justice will play it, throw it in. Cut off by Lundberg. It's a leadoff double in the left for Clay Facto.
Oh, it was absolutely scorched off the bat. I know you said there was a couple stadiums in this league where you can get some exit velocity off the bat. This is it's one of those hits where I'd like to see how fast that came out.
Me too. That's getting close to 100 if you're not there. Trackman coming to Everett in 2024, maybe? Let's see what we can do, Everett
I'm here
Merchants.
for it. You think that Everett would have a better shot than most other stadiums just purely because a minor league baseball team does actually play here?
I agree, and they probably do. It's just behind that locked door over there. This
You
ball
gotta
looks like
get
a miss,
that-
but a called strike.
You got to
0-1.
get that radar gun we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, there you go. Exit velocity and pitch velocity. I like it.
Clock how fast they're walking back to the dugout after striking out.
First to home speed. Here's the 0-1. Big swing and a miss on the breaking ball.
Yeah, the only thing more important than your home to first speed is your first to home speed.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if I was playing baseball nowadays, I'd be doing a lot of first to home.
Oh yeah.
A lot more first to home than home to first.
Yeah. Once I'm on the base paths, weapon.
I'd be a menace. Yeah.
But getting there is the problem. I have a standing offer for the Everett Merchants manager, Harold Pyatt. If you ever need a runner to get stuck in a rundown, I'm your guy. I can hold my own in a rundown for at least long enough for someone to move up.
How much warning would you need? I imagine you got to get a few lunges in, get a few stretches in.
I got to get into some baseball pants. I don't want to go run out there. It's turf,
It's turf.
Whatever.
Who cares? What are you gonna do? Slide?
Although it's an automatic out if you're out of uniform. So this is going to be a tough play. Fisher fields, tag applied, and the 3 unassisted ground out, but the runner advances.
It's a good-looking play to recognize that nobody was covering first base. You didn't have a play over there, and to be able to make that lunge, go ahead and get that. So you could tell that he stretched before the game, unlike us.
Yes, yes, he did. And I like the tag there as well instead of running back to first. Things can happen if you try to get into a foot race. Big hack and a miss.
I always joke that I work from home, so when I go out on weekends or when I play sports on weekdays, I can do whatever I want because I don't need my body to work. As long as my brain is functioning fine, you can throw me in a pickle.
There you go. I like it.
If I tear an ACL, I can still price insurance.
Fly ball to right. Tabata flies out to Fisher for out number 3. Fish stick strand a runner on at third base. Melrose threw 6 scoreless. We had to the bottom half of the 6th inning. We're just looking to add on 4-0 lead. Welcome back. Logan Plunkett on the mound for the Fish Sticks. Bottom of the 6th inning. Jordan Justice, 2 for 2 night with a pair of doubles. Was picked off at second base back in the 4th. Here's the first pitch. It's a swinging, hard-hit ground ball. Throw across the diamond on a hop in time. Cook to Malerba for out number 1.
What do you think about having the last name of Cook on a team called the Fish Sticks?
That's a good. I feel like that needs to be a promotion.
Is that something that we enjoy, or is it something we don't enjoy?
I think it's a really. It's a tough one.
I think I like it.
If you lean into it, it's good. If you shy away from it, it could be a problem, I think.
I feel like you could end up as the punchline of a lot of jokes, though.
You could. You better be good. Swing and a miss. Anthony Andrews, 1 for 2 tonight with a strikeout.
The only thing better than having the name Cook is realizing that your opposition, there's somebody called Fisher on that team.
Oh, great point.
Yeah,
I like that.
This material writes itself after a while.
Welcome to Summer League Baseball in the Pacific Northwest. Here's a question for you. Highline Bears are now the Dub C Fish Sticks. Are you a Fish Sticks or a Seal Slingers supporter?
You know, it's funny you ask. I feel like I'm one of the few people that had prior knowledge on this because a mutual friend of ours, my best friend, was the former play-by-play broadcaster for the Highline Bears back in the day.
Shout out Logan Plant.
Shout out Logan if he ends up watching this at all. And he told me, he goes, this was a couple years after he stopped doing it. He said the Highline Bears are rebranding and there's 2 names in the running. There's the Seal Slingers, and it wasn't the Dub C Seal Slingers.
I don't think it was. I can't remember what the other part was.
And then the other one was the Dub C Fish Sticks, and I said, it's minor league baseball. Dub C Fish Sticks is so absurd that you have to pick it.
It is.
Seal Slingers is a great name. I don't know what it is. I have no visual for that whatsoever. Are you slinging seals? Are seals slinging? I have no idea, but I'll take the Fish Sticks.
Swing and a miss on a full count for Anthony Andrews. For the second out of the inning, brings up Braden Lundberg. The mascot for the Seal Slingers, or the logo, was incredible. It was an orca whale throwing a seal. I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But the Fish Sticks, I think, is easier to promote. You have Fish Stick Night at the ballpark. They have Fish Sticks in their concession stand.
Well, and
which is the move.
We were talking to the intern play-by-play broadcaster before the game that apparently the name of their stadium is called the Friar.
It is, which is fantastic.
And they serve adult beverages in a place called the Icebox.
Yeah.
And their first pitch, they use a fish.
They do.
This is unbelievable stuff right here.
No, it's incredible. It is as close to Savannah Bananas as you can get and still be playing real baseball.
Now, I'll admit, my history, a little bit lower than probably what it should be. What can you tell me about a merchant, who they are and what they do?
Okay, so I can tell you this.
I would hope so.
The merchants, as we watch this pitch called strike 2-1, the merchants at some point, and I should know these years, this is bad on me, fell into some financial hardship, and Harold Pyatt went around to the merchants of Everett, the businesses around Everett, to get funding to keep this team in Everett, to help the community get some cheap baseball in so they can take their kids to see and get these college kids some at-bats close to home. And in getting that financial support, as that ball hit him, so would have been a walk, but we'll give him the hit by pitch. We'll bring up Jonah Scholl.
Tough way to reach first.
Yeah. Hey, if you get there one way or the other, probably wish it hadn't hit him. But in exchange for that financial support, Harold Pyatt rebranded the team to the Merchants.
I like that. I like that. No marketing ploy here at all. Just wanted to pay back the people that helped support the team in the first place. So, I guess another reason to root for the Everett Merchants.
Absolutely.
As if you needed another one, right?
Yeah, we don't. The reasons write themselves.
I mean, if Freddie Funko wasn't enough to convince you to root for this team, I don't.
Absolutely.
Or his dog Funko Phil, who I'm sure in a couple days will be
he'll pop
placed
up.
right next to him.
Runner goes, base, or ground ball hard, misplayed at third base. Scholl's going to try to run it out, and it's off the bag. And we'll be right back. Base hit to third. It was a tight call.
That's tough.
Tight call, but we're going to give Jonah Scholl the base hit. The 10th hit of the ball game for the Merchants. Bo Blacken, when helping struck this lineup, told his team, "We need 10 hits tonight. We scored 1 run on 8 hits last night. That was unacceptable for the level of offense this team is capable of. 10 hits, 4 runs, and 2 on here in the bottom of the 6th here. Bo Blacken has to be thrilled.
So on a call that could have gone either way, do you feel a little bit of pride as the official scorekeeper of this team, personally delivering the 10th hit of the ball game?
This ball dropping for a base hit in center field. That's going to be a tight play. Lundberg around the catcher and scores. Merchants push the advantage to 5-0.
Of course, I asked that question. It ends up not mattering.
It doesn't matter in the end, but to me, that would have been an extraordinary effort to make that play. A slight misplay, and he beats the throw to the bag. Had he not beat the throw to the bag, and he was just off the base, that's a different story.
That's about as close of a play as it gets, because it should have been fielded better, but regardless, even if it's fielded perfectly, that is a really tough play to make at first base.
It is. That's why you have Jonah Scholl in this lineup.
A play that you would probably expect the third baseman to make, but ultimately I think that would be a little criminal to rule that an error.
Especially on the 10th hit of the night.
I know.
It's a benchmark.
According to the coach, it is.
Absolutely.
As it should be.
1-0. Low and away. 2-0 to Will Heron. 0-for-2 with a strikeout and a walk.
You know, I love that the Merchants are adding on here. They got 1 in here, but with 2 outs, I mean, there's more runs to be driven in here.
There are indeed, and good speed on the base paths. Here's the 2-0. Upstairs. And Nix wanted to go to first base, but no one covering the bag. Aggressive secondary leads by the Merchants in this inning.
In my short time watching Merchants baseball here, I've noticed that's kind of a theme for them. Really aggressive leads. They tend to run the bases pretty well. Sometimes that does end up biting them, as we pointed out in the past, but aggressive leads tend to lead to better base running.
They do indeed, and the Merchants have historically had good base running, as a 5-pitch walk loads the bases for Keaton Fisher.
The only thing better than running the bases is walking to first base.
Absolutely. Merchants will take walks as often as you want to give it to them. Quick little mound conference between Plunkett and Nix.
Got a chance to blow this game wide open here. If 5-0 wasn't bad enough, bases loaded could really turn this game on its head.
9-0 would be nice. Let's get a second grand slam here.
It could make it so they don't even have an opportunity to come
Jack
back.
Johnson on deck, 2-for-3, should he be needed.
So the grand slam that was hit the other day, remind me, was that 4-0 or 5-0?
It was. It made it. I want to say it made it 8-0.
8-0
after the grand slam, or maybe it made it 9-0. But it put it out of reach. That was.
There's nothing wrong with not, even if it was 8-0. There's nothing wrong with 9-0.
No. That was the. That was the dagger in that game, I think. I mean, obviously anything can happen in baseball, but it didn't that night. It just kept going in that direction. 0-1 to Fisher. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball.
Sean, I'll put you on the spot here. At the end of this at bat, what's the score of this game?
5-0.
Ah, I'll say 6.
I know that's a cop out. 6-0. That's
I'll say
impressive.
6.
That's almost harder than 5-0. It's hard to score 1 run with the base loaded. Swing and a miss.
Oh, you jinxed it.
Maybe
I jinxed it.
Merchants leave the bases loaded, but pick up a run. We head to the top of the 7th inning. 5-0 Everett. Welcome back. Top of the 7th inning, new pitcher, Brandon Burnett. 1 appearance, 2 innings pitched. No runs on 2 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. And brand new catcher, Cade Westberg, behind the dish. First pitch missing to Owen Prendergast.
I think the team needed to be recharged a little bit. They just brought in an all-new battery to do it.
They did. I like it. I am in favor of the double switch where you bring in that catcher and the pitcher. It's hard to catch all game unless you have a super premier power or offensive catcher. Go 6 and then bring a bullpen catcher in.
I have no problem with it. I know certain pitchers have certain catchers that they feel more comfortable throwing to. I mean, if you find yourself in that situation, especially in a game where you're trying to protect the lead, ultimately I'm kind of in favor of that decision here.
Yeah.
If you're down 5-0, you probably want to leave in your offensive catcher, but yeah, as long as you're leading the game, I'm all for this kind of switch.
I tend to agree.
I always know when 36 is about to come up. He's always got the white helmet on deck.
It's striking. Called strike 2 and 2. Luis Rivera warming up for the Merchants. Everett's de facto closer. Swing and a miss. Good pitch there for strike number 3 and out number 1.
36, Ethan Liao.
Ethan Liao climbs in 0 for 2, but did reach on an error. So here's a question. You're wearing that white helmet. Say you
Okay.
get into a slump. You switching to blue?
I like to think that I'm not a superstitious guy, but yeah, probably, right? You have to, right?
Yeah.
It's baseball, and certain things, if it's not working for you, you got to do something about it. That was fun.
Double hit on the foul ball.
That's strike 3, right? 2 foul balls?
No, you can't strike out on a
Good
foul
point,
ball. You
good
know
point.
that.
It hit it twice. There should be a strike three.
If there's no strikes, that should be strike 2.
I would agree. There you go. I like that.
That's my compromise for you.
Oh, 2 misses well away.
I'll tell you what.
1 and 2.
Before I change the helmet, I'm probably trying to work on my swing a little bit. And once
yeah, that's
I've
fair.
exhausted all options that make any semblance of sense, then I'm switching the helmet.
Yeah. I am also not superstitious. But at a certain point with baseball, you have to be. No swing. Wow. Harold Pyatt calling out the first baseman by name, or first base by name. You know you've been around for a while as a manager and you can call out an umpire by first name for missing a call and not get ejected.
I think this is going to find the seats here.
And it... Will Mudd! Oh my goodness, he pulled it back! What a play! Just off camera, unfortunately. You're not going to rob a home run, but you can rob a foul ball for an out.
That was
gracious.
The defense has shown up. I thought for sure that ball was finding the seats. He went up and over the fence to bring that ball back down the first base line. That was an incredible play by the first baseman.
Throwing a couple stars in the official scorebook for that one. Ball lifted into center field for Andrews. Comes in and makes the out. Throw it out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Web gem for Heron as we head to the bottom of the 8th, or bottom of the 7th. Merchants on top, 5-0. Welcome back. Jack Johnson leads things off here in the bottom of inning number 7. Cade Westberg on deck for his first at bat as a Merchant. And the new pitcher is hammered right away down the third base line and fair into the Merchant bullpen. The Merchants battery in the pin, getting out of the way, cut off, the throw to third, gets away, it's a triple for Jack Johnson, pumping up his bullpen.
He got a little bit fortunate there that ball was misplayed at third base. They had a real chance to get him, but he was going hard all the way and ultimately paid off. He's the one standing at third base.
He was dead to rights at third, but we're not taking that triple away from him. There's no error there. Throws his armor to his teammates, and Cade Westberg in his first at bat as a Merchant has a chance to bring this runner home.
Oh, Cade Westberg.
Andrew Campbell, the new pitcher for the Fish Sticks.
He's immediately in some hot water here.
You got the wrong name. Right?
Yeah, I got the wrong name.
Ball low, 2-0.
Water's so hot, you might say it could fry the fish.
It could fry the fish. I like that.
You might say that.
You never know. All right, here we go. Andrew Campbell. This ball laced down the third base line, foul into the stands, and all the way back near where we keep the clamshell. Not the clamshell. Clams and fish hang out, right? No. I might be pushing it there.
They coexist. I don't know if they hang out. I don't know what happens in a pineapple under the sea.
2-2 now. Andrew Campbell on the year 1 appearance. Again, stats say no appearances, but he has 2 innings pitched, so he must have played in the game. This ball foul tipped.
I wonder if they had an exhibition or something.
It's possible.
Or maybe they tracked some stats and forgot to put it in as an official game.
I have done that before where I've instead of scoring the game live, I've had to input stats, and I forget to check the games played box. So that could be what happened.
You'd think that'd be the first one you check off, but
you'd think it'd be automatic, honestly. Like that is, if I put stats in, they played in the game. I shouldn't have to check a box saying they played. 2 innings pitched, he gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned on 3 hits, 2 walks, no strikeouts, no record, 9.00 ERA. 2-2 pitch, down low in the dirt. Did he go? The appeal wasn't particularly close.
We've gone the other way on check swings. It felt like everything was a swing before. Now it seems like a lot of them are pullbacks here. It's both sides.
It is, absolutely. Payoff pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Breaking ball, foul tipped for strike 3. Brings up Jordan Justice 2 for 2, or rather 2 for 3. Pair of doubles, a run scored. He was picked off in the 4th.
11, Jordan Justice.
That 1-5-4 pickoff. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 1.
It's an important skill to have if you're going to be a winning baseball team. When you get a runner to third in less than 2 outs,
You have to score.
doing something.
This ball's going to do it. Into right center field, and making the play on the run is Facto. The throw in, not in time. Sacrifice fly.
On
He
cue.
played another run.
You talked about me having a curse, me having jinxes. I feel like I've done some justice for this ball club here.
Got the reverse jinx going on right now. 6-0, 6 runs on 12 hits, 1 error for the Merchants, no runs, 3 hits, and a single error for the Fish Sticks. Anthony Andrews climbs in 1 for 3 night. And the base is empty with 2 away. Late time called. Some music playing a little bit too long. Stadium just getting a little bit too excited. Here's the pitch. Popped it up.
Well, last time I thought it was out of play and I was wrong.
And it drops! Nix, Malerba, and Campbell could not figure it out. Campbell a little bit frustrated, I think, as he walks back with an 0-1 count instead of getting out of the inning.
He'll never complain about second life as a hitter here.
Absolutely not. Andrews takes a called strike. Arm moving up in the Merchant pen. It's Rivera. This pitch well away. 1-2. It's a bit bold of me to say anything's well away with some of the zones we've seen the last 16 innings or so. This pitch is hit well to right field. Liao on the run will circle under it, camps and makes the play in left field for the out. Merchants pick up another run. They've scored at least one in 3 straight innings. We head to the top of the 8th inning. Merchants on top, 6-0. Welcome back. Top of the 8th inning. Burnett back on the mound to face Cougar Cook, shortstop, 8-hole hitter for the Fish Sticks, who laces this one into left center field. On the run, playing it on a hop, is Anthony Andrews. The throw in, and this is going to be a tight play. Cut off the relay, not in time. Lead off double into center field for the shortstop. Good piece of hitting.
That was a great piece of hitting. I find myself, you always got to root for the home team, right? But if you're going to root for anybody on the opposition, a guy named Cougar Cook, good place to start.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
That being said, let's see them strand this runner.
That'd be good. That'd be nice. Opposite Ray double into the gap. It's a great way to start the inning for the Fish Sticks. Jerry Nix climbs in, catcher.
So I got to bring this up before it's too late. We were talking when a little bit off broadcast here. I called this earlier the poor man's Fenway, and lo and behold, coming into the top of the 8th inning, they were playing Sweet Caroline in the ballpark.
Absolutely.
It can't be an accident.
Ball well hit in the center field. Andrews plays on a hop. The throw to short will hold the runner at third, and runners on the corners. 2 pitches into the inning. Poor man's Fenway. That is staying. That is a line that will be used from here on out. That's, you've made your mark in the future of Everett Merchants broadcasting.
As a substitute broadcaster, the best I can do is deliver 2 or 3 lines that'll cement my legacy in this broadcast booth.
We'll get a plaque.
That's all I can ask.
Poor man's Fenway. Jacob Hansberg, 2023.
The pitcher is ready to go in the pen if needed.
Pitch low and inside. 1-0.
So speaking of leaving your mark here, I've been curious. We haven't seen a home run in 2 days. I want to know if you have a home run call, and if you do, what goes into it?
Okay, so that's a great question. My home run call is, we'll watch the pitch outside. Ooh, called strike on the outside corner, 1-1. It's the problem with the home run calls in Everett is you can never be sure the ball's leaving, so you can't get too confident.
You call plenty of road games. You can't use that as an excuse.
It's true. I have called, runner goes, called strike, the throw down, tag applied, in time! Oh, hold on, what happened here? Scorebook is freaking out on me. Oh, here we go, never mind, we're fine, everything's good. Great play there, caught stealing. 2-6 the put out. I'll get back to your question. Don't worry. Gotta keep the people in the league office.
You pretended like your technology broke just to stall on me.
I did. I
get it. I know how that game works.
De facto up 1-2. The county fouls that one off. runner on at third base with one away. My home run call has also suffered from the embarrassment of calling a ball gone that short hops the fence. That was a bad night. So it's been more muted since then. But the key to me is I'm pretty generic. Normally start with something like deep fly ball or well hit. And as the ball gets closer to the wall, I'm watching the fielder. And the more panicked the fielder looks, or sad the fielder looks, the more excited and higher pitch my voice gets and bigger. And then normally I say gone once it's over the fence. Home run, talk about the score. It's not the most exciting call, probably.
So there's no specific. I mean, you say gone. There's no specific line that you would say.
I unfortunately don't have a great tagline. I wish I did.
As somebody prior to yesterday who had never broadcasted a game, I feel like the one thing non-broadcasters do is they think about, if I were to call a home run ball, what would it be? So, let me.
Do you have a home run?
I do.
Okay.
Of course
All
I
right.
do. Let me know what you think of this line. It could be terrible.
Okay, I like it.
That ball has a one-way flight to Souvenir City.
Ooh, I like that. Souvenir City, that's a good one.
It's one that I haven't heard before. I like thinking. Now, obviously, there's no people in the stands in the outfield here, but I like thinking of foul pole to foul pole as Souvenir City.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good line.
It's where you go to catch a baseball. Of course, you're probably more likely to get one in foul ball, so it would work for there too.
It would. But I like that. That's good. Always good to have a plan. That's one thing that I've learned in broadcasting is you have to have some kind of plan for when different things happen in a game. Otherwise, you're just playing from behind the whole night. Called strike on the outside corner.
So do you? I learned
Run number
yesterday. Do you have a planned call for the third pickoff of a game for one team, or is that not something that you were ready for?
Yeah. So I was not ready for that. We've had lots of pickoffs in these last two games.
We've seen some fun and interesting baseball here over the last 2 days.
I think the key is just to keep the excitement level up when the exciting things happen on the field. If your energy level matches what's happening on the field, you're in a good spot. That was one of the biggest critiques I had from my professional advisor at Washington State. Was he said, "Sean, you're a great broadcaster, but you broadcast like a gospel preacher in the South. Like your voice is up and down all the time. It's like a 5-yard run up the middle on first down is not exciting. You don't need to your voice doesn't need to get so excited for that." That ball fouled away firmly into the stands, 1-1.
There was a few people there who could have made a play, opted not to.
Yeah, got to leave for the kid who slides in and makes the play for the Herald Buck.
I get it. That's a business decision you got to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you reach a certain age, a foul ball only worth so much. Apparently, one Herald Buck.
One Herald Buck, absolutely, which is the equivalent to $1 at the concession stand. Although he gave up his Herald Buck there. Although he might go down and get one. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Once you reach a certain age, it's not about getting the ball. It's about the story behind making the play, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if I catch a home run ball, it's not the fact that I have the ball. That's cool and all.
No.
I need a story to tell that I made the catch.
Absolutely.
Good for the ego, you know?
2-1. Good block. 3-1.
It's a situation where you need to find yourself preserving the shutout here. You're up 6-0. You don't want it to get any worse. First and third, 2 outs. I like the strikeout if you can get 2 strike here, but I'll take a ground ball just about anywhere at this point.
I'll take a fly ball, honestly. Even like this ballpark's held it all night. Uh-oh.
You asked me to.
Hard hit ball to center field. Anthony Andrews under it and makes the play just shy of the one.
Broadcaster's jinx at its finest.
I'll tell you what. When I said I'll take a fly ball, the Parks held it. That looks like it might not have held that ball, but it did. And with Merchants have the top of the order coming up. Braden Lindbergh, Jonas Scholl, and Aaron Barroom. We return 6-0, bottom of the 6th, or bottom of the 8th. So, all right, welcome back. Andrew Campbell still on the mound for the Fish Sticks. Braden Lundberg leads things off here in the bottom of the 8th inning, looking to add on. Pitch low, ball 1. Lundberg, Scholl, and Aaron Barber due up for the Merchants. Occasionally you might see a defensive replacement in this situation, but this top of the lineup, best defenders on the Merchants team in their respective positions, so you would not expect them to be lifted now.
Tell you what, with the kind of defense we've seen in this series, I wouldn't want to take anybody off the field.
I wouldn't either.
I like exactly who they've been playing in those situations.
The trouble for Harold Pyatt is the Merchants are 14 deep on defense. There is that scrimmage on Saturday.
There's no black hole in the field?
There's no black hole. It's absurd. We have pitchers making plays in the outfield in that scrimmage. It was ridiculous.
I didn't think pitchers were athletes.
It depends on who you ask.
I heard that once on a Mariners broadcast.
Well hit ball to his counterparts. Cook the throw over in time for the out.
For any pitchers listening, that was obviously a joke.
It's a joke, obviously.
Don't at me on any of my social media platforms.
But pitchers, especially starting pitchers, make it hard on them. They bring it upon themselves with some of that.
I can laugh at myself a little bit here. I've always thought if I was going to pitch in a major league game, there's no way I would throw it as hard as I can because my 70-mile-an-hour fastball is an absolute meatball.
Yep.
In that situation, I'm throwing ephuses.
Pitching change.
I like it. When in doubt, throw the ephus. We got a pitching change. We'll be right back. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll get you the new pitcher when we return.
Make the pitcher struggle.
Welcome back. Jonah Scholl lead off with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning against the new pitcher, Caden Poor. Scorebook didn't like that pitching change. Ball away, 1-0. Caden Poor, new pitcher. Poor is yet to appear in a game for the Fish Sticks this season. So first pitches in the PIL season for the right-hander. This pitch well inside, chases Scholl off the plate, 2-0. Home team dugout. Tell him, don't get out of the way of that. It's a free base. A reminder to those young baseball players at home, you're required to try to get out of the way of a pitch inside. Not that that's almost ever called.
I like how the pitcher challenged him, put it pretty much right back in the same spot. You know what? He moved again. I'll tell you what, in a 3-0 count, you better get out of the way of this one. No chance I'm wearing ball 4.
No way. Pitch right down the heart of the plate. Harold Pyatt is super old school when it comes to a 3-0 count. Unless there's a good reason to swing, he's making you... Ooh, wow! I'm not sure where that one was.
Scholl was a quarter way to first base by the time that call was made.
I think the pitcher thought that was a walk. Payoff pitch coming to Jonah Scholl. That one bounces in. Full count walk. And I'll tell you, Scholl will take that. Saw an extra pitch, but he got the walk and made the pitcher throw another
Tell you what,
pitch.
with his speed, it doesn't matter how you reach first base.
Just get there.
If you can turn a walk into a double, potentially a triple, I think you take that any day of the week.
There's been some talk about creating a new version of OPS where you include stolen bases.
I've always thought about that. We've done some baseball research in the past. I feel like there should be a way to incorporate net stolen bases into OPS.
Yeah. Well, a single or a walk plus a steal, that should be a double in certain stats. Not in your power stats, maybe, but
in certain stats.
Yeah.
Because
Spur goes, called strike in the knees. Scholl is out at second base.
his OPS right there is 0.
It is.
I like the call though. You know, you might as well get the game in action here, up 6-0.
I agree. It gets rid of the double play either way, but if you steal the base, it gets rid of it in a beneficial way.
My baseball stat of choice recently has been runs created, because
Yeah.
I know that factors in a little bit of what you do on the base paths as well as what you do with the bat. So
Barber's hit by the pitch. He'll trot down to first base. Will Heron climbing in with a man on and 2 outs. Runs created is a great stat. I agree. That's one of the primary stats I use to create my lineups in What If Sports. We keep calling back to this. What If Sports is fantastic. I'm sorry.
have you talked about it on here before?
I don't think
Or
I
is
have.
Everybody confused on what you're doing.
So What If Sports is... Well, Jacob, you're deeper into the What If Sports world than I am. Can you give a
Sure,
concise...
I'll give the SparkNotes version of it here with 2 outs.
First, nothing.
It's my favorite website of all time. You can simulate any 2 sports teams from any sport against each other and get just a full scorebook of results. And there are different ways where you can create teams and play against other people online. And Sean and I have had a good amount of fun doing that. Mm-hmm. So it's I have learned more about old-time baseball players from What If Sports than I have through any other outlet, and that includes my dad, who is older than I would like to admit. So,
ooh, ball upstairs, nearly hitting Heron.
yeah, you don't see the dugout chirping. We don't get out of the way for that one.
No, you get out of the way for that one, absolutely.
Head and neck, you're out of there.
But I highly encourage everyone to check out What If Sports. First League is free.
First League usually is free. It is, my favorite website. I have burned more hours on that website than I have any other website, and it is just not close.
Once your league gets started too, 3 times a day you're checking, see if you're winning.
Yeah, if you do the Sim League baseball function of it.
Well hit ball down the right field line, foul.
3 times a day for 2.5 months. Best $13 you can spend.
Absolutely.
Which call?
You do learn. I mean, obviously it's not true to life, but I've learned some things about baseball and full season management of teams in that league.
Getting to GM and manage a team at the same time it'll teach you a lot about the way lineups are constructed, but not everything is realistic.
No, of course not. Well hit ball to right center field this time. Going back and off the wall for a base hit. Heron into second base. The throw cut off, trickles in past the cutoff man. RBI double for Will Heron into right field, and the runs keep coming. It's 7-0. Merchants over the Sticks.
Yeah, buddy. Keaton Fisher.
That's a great call. That was a great piece of hitting there. I really like the effort by the right fielder out in right field. Ultimately, that ball was just above his head, didn't have a play on the ball.
With Tipka selling out there.
I think even if he doesn't sell out and he tries to play it off the wall, I think that's a double regardless. So I think he made the right play there.
I agree. You got to if both outcomes likely come out to a double, try for the highlight play.
Go for the out at that point, right?
Absolutely.
Unless, of course, you got a game tomorrow, in which case you might want to rest up. But
Fair point.
easier said than done. Like I said, I work from home for a living.
Ball fouled away. 0-2. Take a quick peek at some scores around the Pacific International League. Seattle Cheney Studs are starting to wake up from their slow start. A 8-1 win over the Gumbaroos, who are still searching for their first league win as a PIL franchise. This ball outside, 1-2. Seattle Blackfins over the Redmond Dudes 5-4 in the top of the 9th inning. Redmond with their last chance in pregame. Redmond over and the Northwest Honkers, although I believe that this is a double book and one of them is, and that Honkers game is going to be rescheduled. 1-2, two-way. Fisher spoils it foul. Take a quick peek at the PIL standings. Northwest Honkers have taken the lead, 6-2 record. Merchants 4-2 record. A game back. Seattle Blackfins in third, 7-4. Studs up to 2-2 in fourth place as Poor steps off the mound. Redmond Dude sitting at 4-5, in danger of falling to 4-6. And the Blackfins threatening to join the party up near the top. That ball fouled away. We'll stay at 1-2. Dub C Fish Sticks 1-2 as things stand, but would fall to 1-3 should this result hold. And the Gumbaroos 0-6 to start their PIL campaign.
It'll make that first win just a little bit sweeter.
And it will. 1-2, fouled off. Good battle here between Fisher and Poor. See if Fisher can do some damage against the Fish Sticks.
Feels inevitable, right?
It does. It does. 1 for 4 nighties do.
I feel like you really cast a line on that joke right there. You really threw one out there. Cast a wide net.
Not sure if it landed, but we'll see.
You cast a wide net there.
1-2. 2 away. Here's a pitch. Fisher fouls it off. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up.
They hit him.
Asking for a new baseball. It's the home plate umpire. His pockets are empty. Jack Johnson on deck, 3 for 4 night. Clubhouse leader for player of the game, in my opinion.
It's either that or the 6 shutout innings that we saw from Shane Melrose earlier today.
We did. Melrose was sharp. Quality start.
Feels like an understatement anytime you don't allow a run and you go at least 6 innings.
Absolutely. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up. Fisher swings and strikes out. Poor wins the battle. But the Merchants pick up another run. We head to the top of the 9th inning. Final chance for the Fish Sticks. 7-0 Merchants. Welcome back.
Now batting number
Last
15,
ups
Jaden Arakaki.
for the Fish Sticks. New pitcher for the Merchants, Luis Rivera. Rivera, 3 appearances, 4 innings pitched. He's yet to give up a run on 2 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. He's recorded 1 save. Jaden Arakaki pinch hitting from the left side of the plate, and he grounds one to Barber. Throw across is in time for out number 1.
Okay, who we got?
Next up is number 22, Will Florio.
Now batting number 22, Will Florio.
Florio pinch hitting, as the first 4 batters up in this inning are pinch hitters.
I think it's that time of the game, huh?
Empty the bench.
Got to get some people some at-bats here.
Florio 1 for 6 in 2 appearances, called strike 0-1. No runs on 5 hits, 1 errors for the Fish Sticks. 7 runs, 13 hits, 1 error for the Merchants, called strike 0-2. Rivera fastball slider combo. Oh, 2. It's a blooper that's going to fall for a fair ball base hit down the left field line. Florio digging for second. He'll get there standing. And a 1-out double keeps the rally going for the Fish Sticks.
Right.
Miguel Espana pinch hitting.
Now batting number 8, Miguel Espana.
Miguel Espana climbs in. Runner on scoring position. Rivera looking to preserve the shutout and close out this win. Fouled off. So, here's a question for you. If I say close out a game, or close out the win, and it's not a safe situation, is that an appropriate use of that phrase?
I think so.
Okay.
Hey, you're looking to put a lid on a game, end it. I'm fine with the term close out the game.
I've been 50-50 on that since I've been
You
broadcasting.
don't have to be a closer to close out the game, but a closer will always do the closing out of the game. So I'm fine with it.
I like that. That's a good way to think about it. 1-1 from the stretch. Rivera, quick peek at second base. And comes home against Espana, who hits the ball well. Andrews in center field. Runner tags. The throw will hold the runner at second base, fly out to center field for out number 2.
28, Hayes.
Working on it. Carson Hayes pinch hitting. 4th batter up
Number 28,
for the Fish
Carson
Sticks.
Hayes.
Final out for the Sticks.
It's a double entendre right there.
Fish Sticks have really emptied the bench. They've used 5 pitchers and 5 bench players. This pitch, it hits him. Carson Hayes is thanking his lucky stars that was a breaking ball. Would not want to feel the business end of a Luis Rivera fastball.
Now batting number 1, Cougar Cook.
Cougar Cook climbs in.
That was impressive to stand in there and take that ball. It almost looked like it didn't hit him at first, but it must have just grazed the shirt.
As long as it touches fabric, it's a hit by pitch.
That's got to be great as a hitter. If it grazes your pants or grazes your shirt and never ends up making contact with any skin.
Free bag. Ball low, gets away, and oh boy, those runners could have gone. I'm not sure that you really need to advance there.
I
With a
think
7-run deficit.
The only benefit that gives you is it eliminates the force, but 9th inning, 2 outs, you need 7 runs.
You need hits.
I'm not
Yeah.
going in that situation.
If you make the 3rd out at 3rd in this situation, it's a bad night. It's not going to be a happy coach when you get back to the dugout. 1-0. Hard hit, ground ball up the middle, past the diving glove of Lundberg. That's going to score at least a run. The center fielder comes up throwing, the throw home not in time, and runners on the corners with 2 away for the Fish Sticks. 1 run on 7 hits now for the Sticks.
21.
Jer-
Number 21, Jerry Nix.
Catcher Jerry Nix up to bat.
I imagine it's always got to be fun as a broadcaster. You're looking through your rosters. Okay, 4 straight pinch hitters for the opposing team. You're a busy guy behind the scenes here.
It's fun.
Peel back the curtain a little bit.
It's fun until they tie it and you have to find him in the field. That's when things get messy. Check swing, excuse me, single into right field. That's going to score another run. Jerry Nix with the luckiest base hit of his life.
You can't do it any better than that. He knew exactly where to place that bat, get the ball to kind of excuse me into right field there.
Just a little pop-up swinging bunt.
2 outs in the 9th inning. You don't care how you get that hit. Really, at any point, you don't care how you get that hit.
Clay Facto now in, and things getting a little bit more interesting. We'll have to go consult the rule books. We might be in a safe situation now. Swing and a miss.
I didn't think you could create your own safe situation.
You might be right. It so rarely happens.
Wait, was that a ball or a strike?
Strike. 0-2. 0-2, 2-1. Final strike for the Sticks. From the stretch. Rivera, long hold, no pitch clock. Here's the 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss! High fastball, and that will end the ballgame. Your Merchants win this one by a final score of 7-2 over the visiting Fish Sticks.
We got Saturday doubleheader.
And a Saturday doubleheader up next for the Merchants. But first off, what a game, and a different story from last night's contest.
You know, it was a lot of fun to be on the call for today's game. Obviously, after the heartbreak of yesterday, coming short 3-1 after a fun 9th inning rally, it was fun to see the Merchants come with a different state of mind, take the same approach from the 9th inning that they had last time, and ultimately deliver an outstanding offensive performance in a 7-2 win.
Yeah, couldn't ask for much more from the offense. Pitching locked it down too. A little hairy in the 9th inning, but nothing
Felt like
too
mostly
bad.
bad luck more than anything. He allowed a couple runners on, and the last couple hits, they kind of found the holes exactly where they needed to go. But ultimately, when you're tasked with a 7-run lead, throw strikes, that's exactly what Luis Rivera did tonight.
Absolutely. Merchants back in action on Friday at the University of Puget Sound at 5:30 against rival Seattle Studs before coming back home for a doubleheader against the Redmond Dudes before heading up to the Grand Forks International Baseball Tournament. We will be back on the air July 5th against these Fish Sticks for American Night at the ballpark. We'll be dressed up, playing American music all night long. It's going to be a good time, and we hope to see you there and on the broadcast. Jacob, thanks for joining us the last 2 nights.
Hey, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I've always wanted to do something like this and experience baseball from this side, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So maybe someday we can make it happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always welcome in the booth. Let me know if you're free and want to come back up. But until next time, for Jacob Mansberg, I'm Sean O'Connor. Merchants win over the Fish Sticks 7